So we just did a whole video and we realized it wasn't recording. So take two.
Classic.
How many times have we done that over the years?
I've done that a lot. But I feel like it's like your test run that you feel you probably needed and just forced on you. So
totally, yeah. It was like that was a bad take anyway.
Yeah, so we're gonna be walking and talking on these videos. So
and we're going to answer the question or explore the question: do you need lead scoring in the age of AI-driven signals? Right? Is that the framing?
Yeah, or challenging scoring, because I think to date we know that like scoring is a made-up thing. It's arbitrary, like attribution, but also it kind of lacks, better insight and more insight, and that we can now get with AI, because we're limited by data, as we know. Scoring, prioritization, all that is dependent on what data you have access to, and the whole point is just trying to figure out, what accounts or people are in market, or that are showing signals of having a project or pain points that can force them to be in market and can create that demand, which I know some people say you can't, but anywho.
So let's explore an example.
Yeah.
So example number one, or situation number one: someone comes to your website, they are a good fit, they've been doing some engagement, but like not a hand raiser. Some content downloading, web page visits, etc. Mm-hmm. That's A. B is you have AI agents going around finding accounts that are good fit, of course, but also now they found an account that they're hiring for your ideal persona. In that job description, it says something along the lines of, we're trying to reinvent our tech stack. Part of your job is going to be to implement the best in breed tool for whatever solution, which is the solution that we're trying to sell. And maybe they've just hired a new C-level person as well, who has a digital transformation initiative, and that is leading to us to think potentially they're in market. So we could add other signals onto that, but just keep it simple. Out of those two situations, if you're trying to answer the question, who's more likely to be in market, is it A or B?
B.
Why?
It's just like a stronger, there's just like, it's not like just a tire kicker kind of person. Like, mm-hmm. And also it's a better person just to target in general, because you have a good angle and hook in a way to reach out to them. There's a reason, why you now. We mm-hmm. know that type of messaging lands. And it's just a stronger buying signal. I think that on top of that, and I just talked about it, kind of think of these also by tiers. And so maybe this helps you reshape your prioritization and thinking through drawing the lines between outbound and inbound, and how you can even leverage signals is, if you figure out that from an account perspective and you have that strong signal, but then you also realize that there's people from that account or person who's also showing engagement with your brand, that to me is like tier A. And that could be a good way for marketing to say, hey, these are the people you should go after, and give them details of
It's kind of like they know who we are.
They know who we are.
They've potentially in market, or another version of a signal. That the one I said was kind of like less pain-based, more in market-based.
Yeah.
But or they've demonstrated the pain.
Yeah.
They've got some kind of content on their website or quarterly earnings report saying, we've had this problem with mm-hmm. efficiency in this domain, and maybe your tool helps efficiency in that domain. So
totally.
Something like that.
And then I think for outbound, if you're not already engaged in that account, that's a good account to prioritize. You can kick off a process where you go and find the right personas and key people to go after that account. And then you can roll that into, an outbound messaging. I think contrary to, if you have a very small team, marketing can kind of own that. Marketing can kind of own that. Because think about it, if you just put it into a sequence, the only difference is, it's more sales driven and like really one call to action. Like you want to try and get like a meeting, you want to, you can call them and so forth. But if you want to take that even, back into this idea of like only sending over things to sales, maybe even reducing that human middleware aspect of the SDR. I hate to say that, but maybe taking that position out of it. You can throw into, I hate to say call it nurture, but messaging that is, contextualized and also personalized based on that signal, but also the person, and really try and drive them to schedule a meeting or become interested, and then you send them over to sales.
And I think all of this is only possible with AI. I hate to be like the AI hype train guy, but just a couple. So if you think about, people have been talking about signals for a while, right? Mm-hmm. But there's a massive difference between low quality but interesting signals that seem cool, and high quality, high like signals that are giving you a good signal, right? That are like
bat signals.
yeah, that are really going to show you that they're in market or they really have the pain. And like people love talking about like funding. Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, like is that really a new round of funding like a good signal? Yeah, they got money. So you're basically saying, hey, I saw you have money. Give me some.
And like think about it, everyone's going to go after that.
Exactly.
But I think another we talked about.
It's not a pain, right?
No, yeah.
They don't have a pain from getting funding other than how do we spend all of this money, and it's not showing that they're truly in market.
Yeah.
Now, that could be a fit characteristic. Maybe you only target those that had a certain amount of funding because your product's expensive.
Or you get a certain investor, investor.
But it's not. And that's where I think people tried signals.
Yeah.
Maybe failed. And they need to try again. Because the problem is, in the past, even just a couple of years ago, you could only get signals that sat in a database, right? Crunchbase has the funding information. It is in a row in a database. I can get it. Now, with tools like Clay, or even just going straight to the models themselves to do like AI models like OpenAI, ChatGPT, and Claude, etc., to do the actual research for you. You can go find data, unstructured data, that is a signal that doesn't live in a database, and you can go collect it. I call it like a signal harvesting.
Yeah.
Right. So, and they're the really specific signals that are in like job descriptions, quarterly earning reports, like in content in the internet. It doesn't sit in a database, and you never used to be able to get that in the past. So AI unlocks that. AI then also unlocks the ability to really contextualize a message and write a message based on that signal at scale that we weren't able to do before. In the past, you just had to have a token.
Yeah.
So you'd have to have like something right, the we saw you got funding token, and then have that in there, and so maybe it was Series A or maybe it was Series B, and that's how much you could personalize. Now you can have a prompt in there, and whatever you think about like AI writing, take your median or average SDR, pretty sure it's at least as good as that.
Yeah.
So
I think for some folks too, if you're struggling to even figure out like what would be some good signals like that, like think about what are the questions that you normally ask your SDRs to try and get on a call or research.
Oh what are they researching? The other thing I like is actually getting AI to come up with the signals. Like go to ChatGPT and say, go read our website, here's some information about us. Now go trying to figure out what are some really interesting signals I could source from the internet. And every time I've done that, it's given me a couple of ideas that I hadn't thought of.
Yeah. And then there is like kind of a layer of fit here. So not just going after any accounts, showing those signals, but also layering on like, and AI can help you do this too, but really truly figuring out if the account is a really good fit for you. And sometimes that is a mix of those qualification criteria. And, do they have a certain number of desk workers or whatever that
other
thing
data
is.
points that also don't sit in the database. It's like thinking about things outside of people trying to sell you databases.
And I think a lot of that is just like thinking about what was so manual, what was hard to get, what did you need to ask the prospect because you couldn't have access to that data before, where now you can get that more upfront. And also, what was maybe a black box before, you know?
Well, that's good. That's the scoring. So let's talk
Yeah.
about scoring. A scored up lead to sales is a black box, right?
Yeah.
Yes, they can go look at campaign history, all of that, but how often do they do that? But they don't have logged in their memory exactly how much, you know, a online event attendance gets scored. So they just trust you that this is a good lead, and then they convert low. Whereas signals
And then
give
they
them the
say
context of what's happening.
Right. But also, and then they use, so a thing to think about is like, if you're telling someone to go reach out to someone, they're going to use, whether we like it or not, they're going to use that reason that you told them to reach out to them as probably
Yeah.
part of their messaging. So before it was
Like
like, oh,
downloaded
you came
content.
to our event. Who
Or
cares?
you downloaded a bit of content. It's
Yeah, like who cares? You know?
oh, it's just sun glare.
And some of those things maybe be really kind of prescriptive, but like, you know, you want to kind of tether that and maybe not go too creepy and be like, we saw that, da, 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 you know, but think about it, like, that's still better. There's like a reason, and they compare that with like, oh, people who are also like your company, you know, are seeing value because of X, Y, Z. And so it's really about just that signal, a reason to reach out, an angle, a hook, and then pairing that also with content that matches that persona.
So
And
what's the recommendation then? Do we throw out scoring now? No. Right?
No.
Not yet.
Well, one, because in some ways it'll help you prioritize just, you know,
Just your first party
just
stuff,
your first
right?
party, like your hand raisers and so forth. That's actually, you don't even need scoring for that, but another day. But at least it also can help you with fit prioritization, because unlike being this prescriptive where you're going outbound, you're finding people that come to you, you want to be able to prioritize those. And actually, I think AI can make that even better. And
Yeah.
tools like HubSpot, you can use custom like prompt steps and so forth. If you actually even just want to say, hey, use this model, go figure out if this person and this account is like the right fit.
Yeah, so I think the action here isn't throw out scoring.
No.
Partly because, you know, some of it is better than just sending everything
Yeah.
to sales. Unless we've recommended this a ton in the past, only sending hand raisers,
Yeah.
right? So I could totally see a situation where only hand raisers go to sales,
Yeah.
and then you have signal-based plays, which are like third party, mix of third party, first party. We didn't even talk about product data. That's
Yeah,
another
that's another first party
signal that's
yeah.
really good. But so keep what you've got going. You can run this on the side. If you are sending, you know, non-hand raisers sales, that's fine. Better than sending everyone.
Yeah.
Run a few signal plays. Go figure out. Go ask ChatGPT what would be a good signal.
Yeah, test it out first.
See how you can get it, right? So many different tools can get signals now. You can even just use the API from ChatGPT or Claude to do it for you.
Yeah.
Claude Code, whatever, and then get those operationalized, right? So
Yeah.
signal comes in. How do we surface that for sales? How do we contextualize their messaging? Maybe you automate all of that. Maybe you automate it up until the messaging review to have a human in the loop there, and then track, did those signals convert? That's the magic piece at the end that I think most people, even if they're doing signals, are forgetting. You need data on which signals are working and which ones aren't, because it's so much experimentation.
Yeah.
And then you can turn up the signals that are working and turn down the ones that aren't.
Yeah. All right. First one in the books.
Didn't get run over.
Didn't get run over. It's actually quite quiet right now, but I think
Almost tried and poop once.
in the future they'll be a bit more noisy because we'll film them earlier. So stay tuned. If you like this, let us know.